for higher fees, less work, and fewer headaches. And today we're going to be talking about why talking about recruitment is repelling your ideal clients. Now, if you're listening live in our Facebook groups, give me or if you're listening live, put live in the comments, let us know that everything's working okay. If you listen to the replay, write the word replay as well to let us know that you can see and hear us okay. Terry, if you speak as well, just to make sure the
Good afternoon, good morning, and welcome to this week's podcast.
Awesome. And today we're going to talk about why talking about recruitment is repelling your ideal client. So why talking about recruitment is repelling your ideal client. So just to give you a quick sort of backstory on why we decided to put this episode on today. So one of the things, as you may know, if you're familiar with our work, one of the things that we do is we help, the recruitment and search personas that we work with, help them get more clients, win more placements. And one thing that's been coming up in one-on-one coaching calls or group coaching calls that we have with them is that sometimes they're feeling like their marketing is getting ignored, right? They're putting all this outreach out, all this content out, whether it's cold emails, LinkedIn, whatever it is, right? Their marketing is getting ignored, right? And so what we were doing is we were critiquing some of the clients, looking at what they were saying, see if we can improve their message. And a common theme came up where the ones who were getting ignored the most, the ones who they were doing a lot of outreach, but they're not getting a response they want. The common thing that was coming up is that very often they were talking about recruitment. They were talking about, their service, what they do, how much experience they've got. Everything they were putting out was recruitment based. Now, obviously, because if you listen to this and make the assumption that you're a recruiter or you at least work in the recruitment industry, it almost makes sense in one way to talk about recruitment because that's what you do. But what we found is very rarely do your clients really care about recruitment, right? Hiring managers don't care about recruitment. They care about the outcome of the service. They don't care about the service itself. Terry, can you explain a bit more what we mean by that?
Yeah, and I appreciate it sounds almost counterintuitive. You're probably sitting there now thinking, but I am a recruiter. What else would I talk about but recruitment? Because that's what I do. And I can understand that thinking, but I want you just for a moment, just step back from that. And I often use this as an example. Imagine you go to a dinner party and you sit down at the dinner party. The person opposite you says, "Hi, my name is Fred or Frida. As we're going to be sitting opposite each other tonight, I can't wait to tell you all about me." Now you kind of sit there and think, "Wow, I'm really not looking forward to that. To you sitting here and talking all about me." And if the roles are reversed, you certainly wouldn't sit opposite somebody and talk all about you. And what you would do is that you would, any of us, most normal people would engage and say, "What do you do?" And you'd ask questions and so on. It would be a two-way thing. And the problem with talking all about you and what you do as a recruiter is 99.9% of people have zero interest in you and what you do. And if you look at it from the hiring manager's point of view, the hiring manager doesn't want recruitment, and I'll go into explain this in a bit more detail. They want the solution that recruitment provides. Example: my background, I was an IT recruiter many years ago. So I would do typically my hiring manager was either the HR director or the IT director. And as a recruiter, I would be recruiting project directors, maybe IT managers. But what they wanted was the results that these individuals would bring to the business. So typical IT director, they want somebody to ensure that projects are going to be delivered on time and to budget. Ultimately, that's what they want. Because once these projects were delivered on time and to budget, from a business perspective, it's going to give them that competitive advantage if they've got projects that, for example, maybe a logistics projects to ensure that their products are getting on the shelves on time and in an orderly fashion. That's what they want. They don't actually want me as a recruiter providing recruitment. They want the solutions that my candidate can find for them to help them achieve those goals. Let me just check in with you, Drew. Does that make sense to you as I'm
It
saying that?
does. It makes perfect sense. But just to reiterate, it's like hiring managers very rarely, and again, some do, some do wake up thinking about recruitment because they've got a different level of awareness. But most of your prospects don't have that awareness yet. That especially in a contracting market, right? So sometimes when the market's a bit more buoyant, more people are thinking about recruitment because they have a problem and they're aware of what the solution is, right? And the solution being recruitment, so they're thinking about recruitment then. But very often, and what's happening now a lot in most sectors is that people aren't really, even if they've got the challenge that you solve, they're not really aware that recruitment is a solution, right? They're not waking up thinking about recruitment. They're not thinking that they need a recruitment service. They're just sort of sat there with this challenge or a certain level of awareness of this challenge, where if you're not speaking on the level that they're at, you're just going to get ignored, right? So, for example, like, and again, I'll sort of translate this to our business. So, one of the things that we do, so we've got lots of different programs, there are lots of different ways that we can help recruiters make more placements, right? We've got books, we've got training courses, we've got webinars, we've got, you name it, we've got it, right? Talking about recruitment is about us, is a bit like us talking about a webinar, right? It's not that you're not interested in a webinar per se, but you have to have a certain level of awareness to know that a webinar or a book or a training course might be the solution, right? What you do have a level of awareness of is, that you want more placements or you want more revenue, you want more profits, right? So that's where, if you look at the way we market our business, that's what we talk about. We never really talk about the vehicle to get in those things. We talk about the things themselves, right? And you need to do the same when you're promoting your recruitment services. So what I want you to do is, and again, it's going to vary from sector to sector, depending on what level you recruit at, what vacancies you recruit for. Rather than think about recruitment, think about the outcome that your candidates provide, right? So if you go out and find an ideal candidate and place them in a company, what impact do they have on that company, that department, that organization? And that's the things we want to be talking about. So if you recruit for salespeople, that sales manager you put in might help the company or department increase sales, might help them increase profits, whatever it is, that's what we talk about. That's the level of awareness that your prospects are at right now. Terry, some check-ins. Does that make sense?
Yeah, perhaps another way of looking at this, you as you're listening to this as a recruitment or search business owner, as Drew just touched on here, ultimately what you're looking to do, you're looking to make more placements, you're looking to increase your profits. So if I was a rec to rec guy, if I was to talk to you about that and talk to you about what do you think would help you achieve more profits or make more placements, you'd probably talk then about, maybe if we had a consultant in that had that skill set or had those contacts. But ultimately, what you want is you want the solution to the problem of generating more leads, making more placements, and generating more profits, rather than me come along and saying to you, I'm a rec to rec guy, I can bring you consultants. Because ultimately, it's not the consultant that you want as a recruiter. You want the profits and the revenue. So that's, in a nutshell, what we're saying is talk about the end results the hiring manager is going to get rather than what you actually do. Because I promise you, they just don't care what you do. They just want their problem solved. And anybody that's been around for any time to know that you've got to find out what their pain is, what their needs are, and find a solution to their pain. Does that make sense, Drew?
Yeah, and again, it reminds you of a saying that a famous copywriting saying that we've again probably shared in this podcast before, but the saying goes that nobody wants a quarter-inch drill bit. What they want is the hole in the wall, right? So, and again, we want to apply that directly to your recruitment services, right? No one wants the quarter-inch drill bit; they want the hole in the wall, right? And you talking about recruitment is a little bit about you selling the drill or the drill bit, when what your prospects really want is the hole in the wall. And again, just want to spend a bit of time talking about the different levels of awareness that your prospects will have, the different levels of awareness your prospects will have. And what we need to do as business owners, as marketers of recruitment, is we need to educate our prospects through each step until they're ready to buy, right? So there's level one, we've got completely unaware, right? Prospects who are completely unaware. So these are people who are in your market, right? You know you can help them, right? So you've got that awareness, but they don't really have the awareness to the problem they're having. They definitely don't have awareness to the solution that could solve the problem. Right? They've got zero level of awareness, right? That's level one. Level two is we've got prospects who are problem aware, right? So let's say, again, the problem's going to differ depending on what sector you're in, but problem aware would mean that they're aware of what the problem is in their organization or business. Right, so it could be that if you recruit for salespeople, someone could be aware that their sales aren't where they want it to be. Right, they could be aware that something's not performing right in their business, so they're aware of what the problem is. That's level two. We've got level three, which is solution aware. So they're not just aware of the problem; they're aware of the solution as well. So, for example, again, I'm sticking with salespeople. The solution aware would be the problem aware is that I know that my sales aren't where I want them to be. Solution aware is that I know I need to bring someone in to help me solve this problem, right? That's solution aware. I'm aware of what the solution is. Then we've got next level, which is product aware, right? So someone that's solution aware could know that they need to bring someone in, but not necessarily realize or not necessarily be ready to use recruitment services. Right, they could have internal team, or your recruitment services more specifically. They could have an internal team. They could have a network of people they could tap into. So they know they need someone in, but they're not necessarily at that level of awareness where they know they need your help. Right. Then we've got product aware, which is the next level where they know what the problem is, they know what the solution is, and they're also product aware as well. So they know that they need to use a recruitment firm of some sort. Right, they are aware that they need to use a service like yours. Then lastly, we've got most aware, which is where they know they need to use your service. Right, which is where we've educated them the most, right? And that's why at the point where they're ready to buy and buy from you. But, going right back to the beginning, we've got completely unaware people, prospects who have no idea what the problem is. We've got problem aware, whether they're aware what the problem is. And we've got solution aware, we've got product aware, and we've got most aware, right? If you look at these 5 stages, and again, the number of people in each of these stages will vary depending on market conditions, depending on how you market your business in the first place. But most of the time, most of the prospects aren't going to be even product aware. Right, most people are going to sit either completely unaware. Think about your prospects right now, your audience right now. You probably got businesses on your list or in your network who you could help. You know that you've got a candidate right now. You're probably placing that company. It's going to make a massive difference, right? But they're not even aware that there's a problem right now. They're not aware that they could use your help. We've got people that are problem aware where they know they're not performing where they want it to be, right? But they still might not see you as a solution. Still might not see recruitment as a solution. Still might not even see bringing in a candidate as a solution, right? And if we're not speaking to these people, we're going to get completely ignored. If we're just talking about candidates, we're just talking about recruitment, we're going to get overlooked, ignored, and you're going to be left wondering why you can't book enough sales meetings with hiring managers, or why they're not returning your calls, or why they're not responding to your emails. It's because we're not meeting them where they're at in terms of the problem they're having right now, or their awareness of the problem they're having right now. Again, Terry, someone check in. Does that make sense? Anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, and the last group that you talked about there, the most aware, and that's where most recruiters pick up the business. So they speak to a hiring manager who is most aware. They say, the hiring manager says, yeah, actually, I am looking for a blah, blah, blah. If you've got any good candidates, send them over. But you would have spoken to people or hiring managers in those other groups. But because you simply talked about, I am a recruiter, the conversation went no further, because then what they would say is, I'm not hiring at the moment. And you say, okay, because you're only talking you're only looking for the most aware that say, actually, I am looking right now. So can you see, if you could identify people that are problem aware, solution aware, process aware, what that would ultimately mean is you would establish more hiring managers that ultimately further down the road are going to have a need for what you do. And think about that for a second. What would it mean to you if you could speak to hiring managers before they were ready to engage a recruiter? Can you see the advantage you would have over all your competitors? But if you're going for what we call the most aware hiring managers, you're simply talking to the hiring managers who say, yeah, I am looking. I am talking to half a dozen of your competitors already. I've already got some CVs and resumes in. If you've got any candidates that match this, send them over. And how many times have you done just that and send over CVs and resumes? Probably 3 months ago, you're still waiting to hear back from the hiring manager, simply because you've got there too late. But the smart recruiters are getting in there before. So when the hiring manager says, actually, this is what the problem is, and I'm aware of what the solution is, but we're not quite ready yet. And they saying things like, we'd probably be ready in 6-8 weeks. The advantage that gives you over your competitors. Does that make sense, Drew? Is there anything you want to add to that?
It does. It makes perfect sense. Again, so just to recap on different levels of awareness, we've got completely unaware, we've got problem aware, we've got solution aware, we've got product or service aware, and then we've got most aware, right? And you as a recruiter, you as a business owner, you need to be speaking to prospects at all levels so you can move them through all stages. Again, like ideal scenario, as Terry touched on, is that you're the first person a prospect thinks of when they're ready to hire, right? And you can help influence that decision, right? Rather than being, what we call an order taker, where we're waiting until they're most aware. We're letting someone else do the hard work, all the marketing, waiting until they're most aware. And sometimes we're picking up business there, but most of the time we're late to the party, right? We're working on job orders where there's 3, 4, 5 other recruiters working on it, or if we're a retained recruiter already, then we're getting there too late, right? They're already engaged in another firm. Again, so hiring managers don't care about recruitment; they care about the outcome that recruitment can give, and that's what we want to be talking about. Again, Terry, I've got nothing to add. Anything you want to add?
No, you've covered that really well, Drew. So that's it. So that's why talking about recruitment is actually repelling your ideal clients. As I said at the very beginning, initially that might sound counterintuitive, but just to recap, hiring managers don't care about recruitment. They care about the outcome. Recruitment is a solution, but not all prospects will be in the market for solution right now. And it's your job as the recruiter to educate the prospects through each step. And Drew then talked about completely aware, problem aware, solution aware, product aware, the most aware, which is at the end when they go, yeah, hell, we need somebody, and we're actually looking for them right now. And if you can get to talk to them before that point, the most aware, what it means is you're going to have more meetings with interested hiring managers who longer term will be in the meeting for what you do. Drew, thank you very much for that today. Much appreciated.
Awesome. Again, just very quickly, if you're listening to this, right, and you've enjoyed this episode, make sure you like and subscribe and share it with at least one recruitment business owner that you know, who you think also could benefit as well.
Excellent. Until next time, folks, take care, take action, be relentless. Cheers, folks.